Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the October 25th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. Supporting the reality of oneness. Out of more than 7 plus billion people, God, Source, your highest self, has chosen the person you see in front of you in every interaction as the best possible individual to assist you in reaching a higher level of consciousness. What expression other than gratitude could you possibly offer such a being? Not only have you chosen them, but they have chosen you. Be it for a moment or a lifetime, understand this for what it truly is, a holy relationship. We are one. If you cannot see yourself in him, her, then you're not seeing your whole self. We are one, and therefore we are not and cannot be strangers to each other or separate parts. Today, above all else, above every programmed thought the ego would have you think, when we look upon a sister or brother, let us internally thank them for their service to us. And remember that we are looking upon ourselves. Today, when the ego knocks at our door, and it will, we will simply say to it, "My sister and brother are no longer strangers to me. I now acknowledge our gift to each other, and support and witness that they and I are one." Today we will speak about the idea of oneness versus separateness. The idea of oneness is that we all come from the same source. We all come from God's source, love itself, herself, himself. And so we are all expressions of this love. And that is the sameness in all of us, this love. In the ego's world, it supports the idea of separateness. It looks upon a body and defines what the body looks like, what it says, and what it does. And then it judges all that against what it has taught you to believe is real. What it has taught you to believe is real is simply a manifestation of all your parents, friends, peers, society taught you is real. And so when those other individuals, who the ego says are in separate bodies, define the world differently than you, then you are to defend yourself against them. Because they're simply attacking your belief system. And if they attack your belief system, then they're attacking you. And that is dangerous according to the ego. And so you see these individuals as bodies, while oneness itself looks past what an individual might look like, say, or do, because it understands that just is an event in time, and time itself is an illusion. It is temporal, and so the event in time is temporal, and so the oneness mind does not look upon your brothers and sisters as that frozen event in time. It does not look to the past to see the person you're interacting with as an equal soul being. And so this is the choice we have in every moment, to look upon our brothers and sisters and see the sameness within us all, or to live in a world that is constantly where we are constantly under attack, because other bodies think unlike us, dress unlike us, talk unlike us. And the ego wants you to believe in this idea of separateness, because if you do, then it can have you all to itself. Because if you cannot trust your brothers and sisters, then you only have the ego to trust. And the longer that you support the ego's illusions, the longer the ego survives. within you. Now, the ego is simply an illusionary idea, very limited idea within the mind. And so we can make it grow with our time, energy, and focus if we believe it to be real. That makes it grow and makes it greater and greater part of us. And thus we dive into more of the idea of separateness. We dive into more of the idea of judgment and anger and resentment when your brothers and sisters don't do exactly what you think they should be doing. And obviously that type of world, you do not experience peace. And peace is your true nature. Because love itself, that which we are, has many expressions. And some of them are compassion, kindness, joy, peace, forgiveness, generosity. And so the idea of oneness supports the truth within us, supports who we truly are. And when we're supporting our truth instead of the ego's illusions of separateness, we have the state of peace. And we see our brothers and sisters as simply a mirror of us, a mirror of our internal condition, because we know that they and us are one. And so when we see our brother and sister, be it for a moment in time, be it for a day, be it for a month, or even a lifetime, doesn't matter how long we interact with them, oneness understands that they have been brought before us because we have asked to bring out these illusions within our minds to the physical form so that we could better see what separates us from our truth. And so our brothers and sisters volunteer for that. And so we have chosen them, and they have chosen us. And so we're working together to let go of our illusions through our interactions. And when this happens, little by little, you start dropping these separate ideas of judgment, anger, resentment, jealousy. You start dropping the idea of separateness. Because you start to see that when you are angry at somebody, the ego would have said, well, if you're angry at them, then when you are angry at them, that anger sticks with them, and you're free from it. You're released from that anger. Why? Because you're separate. But then we become angry and judgmental at other beings, and we start to feel, wait a second, this anger and judgment, even though it's at them, I'm still feeling it within me. It's making me sad. It's making me depressed. It's making me resentful. And this is just not, I'm not feeling at peace. I'm not getting peace from this, even though the ego says this is the right thing to do, that they are to be judged because they think unlike you, because they look unlike you, because they talk and have belief systems that are not quite yours. So if you judge and criticize and hate and are angry at them, then that's proper according to the ego, because that all those feelings will simply attack them and you'll be free. But I think we've experienced the ego's illusions long enough to figure out that that hatred, that anger, that resentment, that jealousy does not stick with them. It flows through us first. It has to flow through our minds, which produces chemicals in our brains that can even hurt us. It flows through our bodies, these chemicals. And we just don't feel good, either physically or even emotionally. We feel like we're carrying some baggage that doesn't even belong to us. And so that's what the ego gives us. It gives us these illusions that says that this is just the way the world is, and that we're simply to deal with it. That's the ego's answer. And so we believe that answer for a while. But sooner or later, we say to ourselves, man, or woman, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way than hatred and jealousy and resentment and carrying all this stuff with me that I know that deep down inside is not me. And so you look for this other way, and you start using your idea of oneness. Because you start to, if you haven't learned it from somebody else, you start to learn it yourself. Because you see how when you interact with another, if you make them feel good, you feel good. If you make them feel bad, you feel bad. So this idea of oneness starts getting built around you, and then you start to feel it, and you start, you know what? When I offer peace and kindness and joy and forgiveness to my brother and sister, wow, I feel kind of peaceful about that, and I kind of feel good physically. I feel good. I feel lighter. I feel friendlier. I have better days. I have more joy in my life. I like this. I like how this feels. And so you start to align with the truth within you, consciously or not. And when we finally realize that we are one, we are indeed one, that what we do to our brothers and sisters, we are doing to ourselves, we more and more desire to offer them compassion, forgiveness, kindness, and joy, because we know that that also feeds us and feeds our true internal nature and eternal nature also. So today, let us let go of those ideas of separateness. We have played that game before, and all we are left with is some bag of stuff that really does not belong to us. And it makes us feel weighed down and tired and stressed, and we've been through that again, not before. And so let us simply practice experiencing this oneness. When we see our brothers and sisters today, the ego will, because it has programmed us since we were little, it will have us want to judge our brothers and sisters for what they say, think, or do. That's fine. Let us simply catch ourselves quicker and quicker every time we're doing that, every time we're buying the idea of separateness. Let us catch ourselves quicker and quicker and spend less and less time in that illusionary thought system. And then, when we catch ourselves, let's pat ourselves on the back. Good job. And remember that this being is in front of you for a very holy reason, to help you remember your oneness. And by remembering your oneness, becoming this greater and greater light that they too will see shine. And when they see that light shining, they will remember that they also deserve that light, that peace, that joy. And so, let us let go of the ego today. The ego will have us trying to have us judge our brothers and sisters. That is fine. Do not judge yourself for that. Just catch yourself quicker and quicker when you're in that illusionary state of mind. Bring yourself back. Remember, I am one. We are one. And as I put here in the post, you can say to yourself, my sister and brother are no longer strangers to me. I now acknowledge our gift to each other and support and witness that they and I are one. And so you can make up your own little mantra and remember that you are one with your brothers and sisters. And instead of judging them as the ego would have you do through the ideas of separateness, let us instead offer them gratitude. As I usually mention at the end of all my videos, you always want to end every interaction, no matter how the ego has presented it, with gratitude, because you're either remembering your oneness or you're sharing your oneness. And when you're not in your oneness, that's going to help you, after you've been through that ego process enough times, that will help you realize that you want oneness. You do not desire separateness. No matter what the ego says, or no matter what the ego has taught you, you do not want to be separate from your brothers and sisters. You don't want to treat them as separate beings, because that's simply an illusion. Because in truth, you can't even do that. Because even though the ego says you can, you really can't. And when you do, you understand what it gets you. Nothing you desire, nothing you truly want, nothing that belongs to you, that truly belongs to you. What truly belongs to you is in the state of oneness. What truly belongs to you is that peace, that love, that compassion, that kindness, that generosity. That's all you. That's all yours. And that's all for you to share. That's for you to become an example of. Become an example of that light. Become an example of that oneness today, and remind your brothers and sisters that they too are one with you. And this will offer them peace and the joy they have for so long longed for. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you would be so kind as to like, comment, or share the video, it would help with the listening process, and it might help somebody find this video someday that it may be useful for them. If you'd like to leave me a comment or a question, I would be delighted to try and offer a response. I try to respond to all comments or questions. And finally, if you can please subscribe to my YouTube video, I would love to have you in this community. Again, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. And God willing, we will see each other tomorrow. Peace.